Alright guys, you're very welcome back. In this video I'll be teaching you how to locate, dig, store, use, freeze and just basically get the most out of your lugworm. So without further ado, let's get into it. The lugworm is found on any sandy, muddy or shingly bays, harbours, estuaries or shoreline. They're noticed by the squiggly lines that they expel onto the sand. So anything that looks like this here is a bed of lugworm. Next time you're on a drive out with the family or heading to the beach, keep an eye out for these squiggles on the sand. That there's a clear indication which will hold up where the lugworm will be, and that's how you know. So to dig lugworm, you'll need a pitchfork, a bucket and a pair of welly boots. This diagram shows lugworm in its burrow under the ground. As you can see, there's a squiggle and a hole either side of like an underground burrow where the lugworm will be in. Best thing to do, I do, is kind of aim your fork in between the hole and the squiggle and go 2 to 3 forks down to across and try and scoop it out, ensuring you don't break the worm, and yeah, try and scoop them out. While digging lugworm, you will come across broken worms. Once you see a broken worm, don't put it in with the rest of your good live lugworm, as blood and guts from the dead worm will affect the quality and kill, if left long enough, your good lugworm. Best thing to do there is to either discard them or get a separate bucket for them to use that day, as these worms are dead and won't stay alive with the rest of your good worm. Basically just rinse and repeat the process of digging until you have enough gathered for a session. Anywhere between 20 to 30 worms is enough for one session for a few hours more, so if you're going longer you can play that by ear. Once you have your desired amount of lugworm obtained, to store them then, I just separate them all, take out any broken lugworms or busted ones or bits of blood that's leaking out of them, discard of those ones, and then I separate about groups between 15 to 25 lugworm across a tray and fill the tray with just a few millimeters deep of fresh seawater that I gather down at the pier. I put these then in the fridge, and that will last me, that can last up to 2 weeks if you change the seawater every day in the trays. So basically put them in the fridge in a tray of a few millimeters of water and change the water every day, and you'll last a good 2 weeks out of it. On the day off your session then, I like to toughen my lugworm up and dry them out. To do this, I put them in a little freezer bag filled with about 2 handfuls of vermiculite. Vermiculite can be found in any hardware stores, garden centres, that sort of stuff, as far potted plants and all that sort of thing. So vermiculite will dry them out for the hook to take with you then in your bait pack that you're going to take fishing with you. The next clip then will show you how I physically put the lugworm on the hook then to use during your sessions. 3 hook flapper, very simple. Size 4 for the little flats. Nice juicy lugworm. Nick through the head. I'm gonna say thread it on like a worm, but that's precisely what we're fucking doing, because it is a worm. And that is your penguin flatbait. Snip these down now, keep it all 100. Do the same thing then 2 more times for the other 2 hooks somewhere. People say that you can't freeze lugworm. Well, I say to them people that they're full of fucking shite. Basically, never waste your lugworm. If you have any left over from a session, just in your freezer bag with vermiculite, bang that in the freezer, because that will still be good for a variety of species. It doesn't be the firmest on the hook, but there is a way you can still use it if you make sausages with it, and having the right baiting tools and right bait elastic, you can make any bait out of it. I'll show you that in the next clip.
So basically what I am going to do, I'm going to make a squid cocktail with lugworm. I'm just going to open this squid here with a knife. So nice bloody thin strip of squid like so. I will right, bait elastic now. It's handy wee baiting tool, this. Make wee sausages and stuff like that. And that looks good to go there now. Now, I'll just half that and get 2 baits out of it now. Chainsaw Massacre here with a bloodbath, but that's like a nice wee bass bait there. Next one, I'm just gonna thread this on and just leave it fairly simple. Just double nick it through the bait, and that's her. That's a bass bait.
I've caught coalies, turbot, flounder and dogfish using this method, so I would say any species that it would take a fresh lugworm would take a frozen lugworm. This method has been tried and tested by myself. It's not the hardest to do. You don't have to gut them. You don't have to anything. You just have to be able to use the right baiting method to get the most out of them. And basically that's how to make the most out of your lugworm. Don't waste any. Just get it on the back in the freezer and back on the hook to attract many more species. Folks, thanks very much for tuning into my video. If you like any more hints and tips like this, be sure to check out my channel and give me a wee subscribe. I do lots of tutorials as well as checking out new marks and stuff like that there. Be sure to subscribe and share with your friends to get the most out of your lugworm.